All right, so prerequisites for you to get started with personal branding and blogging. You should write this list down or just use the link that I gave you, the prerequisite list, the blogging webinar training list. And these are the things that you're going to have to get started as far as technology. You absolutely must have a Gmail account. I don't care if you're a Yahoo fan. I don't care if you've been using Hotmail since the day you were born. You have to get a Gmail account. I'll explain all that to you later. Gmail, super crucial, important, must have. Second thing, a YouTube. If you have a Gmail account, you also own a YouTube account, but it may not be turned on. So you need to go through and get YouTube turned on. Go and make sure you have a YouTube account and that you learn how to upload a video. I'm not actually going to show you how to get a Gmail account and how to get a YouTube account. You can find, if you're not technical enough for that, you have to go to YouTube and ask that question. How do I get a Gmail account? How do I turn on YouTube? The third thing you should have is a Periscope. This is something for the future, for when we start doing videos. You actually have to have a Periscope account. It's going to be very helpful for your brand. Periscope is part of Twitter. Get a Twitter account. Periscope is free. Twitter is free. None of the things that I'm showing you cost you any money until we get to the end here. The next thing is Facebook. You have to have a Facebook account, and you should probably know what a fan page is. I'm going to explain that to you in session 2, but you got to have a fan page. Fan page is extremely important. It has tools and features on the fan page that does not have on your normal Facebook page. You've got to have a fan page. And then WordPress. Either whether you're doing it yourself or you're having us do it for you, WordPress is going to be our blog platform of choice. There's 3 major blog platforms. WordPress is the one that we've picked. I think it's the best one. It's got all the tools, bells, and whistles. We're going to have to set you up with WordPress. And whether you're using my WordPress setup for the enterprise people or you're going to use your own, I'm going to show you where to get that, because you can't just use, there's one out there that's a generic version that doesn't give you some of the features that you're going to need for a full-powered blogging press. And then the last thing that you absolutely have to have, not right away, but shortly, I mean as you start moving forward, you're going to have a list. You're going to have to start having emails sent out. Now, Aweber is my favorite one of all of them. I know that one the best. You can also use MailChimp. Both of them are very small investment. It is an additional cost over and above everything else. It's the only one here so far that you're really going to have to pay for is Aweber or MailChimp. Now, if you're part of my enterprise program, you don't have to pay for either one of those. I'm actually going to set you up with a custom mailing program that I built for you, and it's actually in the long run going to be about 1/10 the price. It's going to be, you know, you're paying per email for everyone that gets sent out with Aweber and MailChimp. And the solution that I'm going to set up for you is actually about 10th of the price. It's a little bit more on the front end to set up, but it's way cheaper in the long run. You know, when you're doing like Eric Worre or Ray Higdon, 1.4 million emails, and you're paying 10 cents a piece for them versus a penny a piece for them, it's a huge chunk. It's a big chunk of dollars. So Aweber and MailChimp, you do not have to have that right away for our conversation. I just wanted to let you know that WordPress and some kind of emailing program is absolutely crucial for the big end of the program. I'm actually going to show you how to get started in this even without the full blogging platform. Just to get started, you're going to learn enough about this tool and blogging and platform so that you can start blogging right away. You can actually start doing something every single day to start building your audience. So in the program, I'm going to show you who, what, when, where, why, and the magic sauce too. In other words, I'm going to give you every single little piece, all the little nuances and all the little tricks that you're going to need. And I'm not going to hide anything, so it doesn't matter. And the only difference between the packages is how much I'm building for you. That's really the only difference. Every single one of you is going to get every little trick that I know in the platform. So this is Blogging 101. First thing I want to talk to you about in our notes, you guys should be taking notes because the more you write stuff down, the better off you are. So let me check here. Someone tried to comment. Storytelling. The first thing I want to tell you is I tell this story to every single customer that I get. If I do a website for somebody or I'm helping someone with their brand, everybody gets this story. So you're just going to have to suffer the story. So it doesn't matter whether you're a $1,000 website or you're a $500,000 website. You know, I've done websites for Verizon Wireless Business. I've done websites for Broadway Across America. I've done stuff for Assassin Modeling. I've done stuff for Fortune 500 companies. And they're all going to sit down and they're going to have to hear this story. So I'm going to tell you the story. When you start branding or you start telling a story, whenever you start marketing, You are Lewis Carroll. Lewis Carroll wrote a book, and it's called Alice in Wonderland. And as an author, he had to tell a story in a specific way with pieces in a specific order. Because as a reader, if you were just hand the book, if you just took the pages and shuffled them in any order and handed them to somebody, the story would be terribly confusing. It has to be in a certain order. It has to be a certain way. That's what makes it a #1 bestseller. That's what causes people to stay involved and stay reading. If you tell the story, as Lewis Carroll, you made up a person. Her name was Alice, and she fell through the looking glass. And she went into a hole, and she met the white rabbit. And then she met all of the creatures. You need to tell a story. You need to understand that you are telling a story. With your blog and with your brand, you are a storyteller. You are Lewis Carroll. Now, what I'm going to help you do in this process, and you have to be thinking about this all the time, is we have to make sure that Alice, our customer, doesn't get lost in the woods. It's very important that we have step 1, then we have step 2, then we have step 3. If we give her too many choices, she gets lost in the woods and she doesn't engage and she'll never come back. Confused people do nothing. We have to develop your brand so that it's simple, it's clear and concise, which means it has to be simple, clear, and concise to you first. And then you can start leading people through. And what you need to think about is the simplicity of a kiosk. If you look at our back office and anything that I've ever built, you'll see that when you first get in there, it's going to say start here. We get the question all the time, where do I begin? Where do I do? Go to the back office and read the big banner. It says start here. Follow the checks. Here's number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. That's the way we build everything. You have to have a process in your brain. What do they see first? What do they see second? What do they see third? The concept is like a kiosk at a bank. When you go to a bank, you only get 2 choices. You want to put money in, or you want to take money out. If you don't like either of those 2 choices, keep on going. It's really simple when you start building a brand because you have an idea where you want to bring somebody. You have a story that you're going to tell along the way, and you have an expected end. Every single thing that we do tells the same story and has the same expected end. This is one of the most powerful things, that as you build a Google Plus page, you build a Facebook page, you build a blog page, you build a capture page, that every single page has the same story and has the same expected end. So it doesn't matter how they get there, they're still going to come to the same thing. Our first expectation, here's one of the secrets. Your first expectation is to get their email. First thing, you want to get their email address. And you want to get them either to subscribe, follow, or like you on your Facebook page. That's okay. That's good. But that's not their email address yet. Your expected end, that might be an introduction, but your expected end is to get their email address because you want them on a list. The list is where you make money. Now, we're going to have a lot of different reasons for a lot of different people with a lot of different motivations for why you're doing this. But the reason that you're doing this is to help them make a decision that's good for them and good for you. You know, it's great that, like I hear from Gary Vaynerchuk. He says, I'm going to give, but I have an expectation on the other end. I'm not Mother Teresa. I actually have an expectation that I want to sell something. I'm here to make some money. This is a business for me. And it doesn't matter what you're selling. You have an expected end. You want them to listen to the story, and you want them to reach in their pocket or their heart, whatever it is that you're selling, and make and engage. That's the big picture on the other end. But your first thing that you want to do is get them to give you your email address. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more, some of the nuances of how to get their email address, how to build a list, how to get them to do that phase. But then right after you get their email address, you want to start seeding the list. And this is them to start training them to buy something. You want to start training your list to buy something from you. And it doesn't matter. You have to have an offer when they first come in that gives them the opportunity to purchase something. And it doesn't matter if it's $1, $5, $7. You want some kind of super cool deal, amazing widget, whatever it is. Robert Hollis's book for $9.95. I'm going to give it to you today for $1. Download the ebook for $1, whatever it is. You got to figure out what your offer is. Once they come in, you immediately start seeding the list so that their first relationship with you is based on a monetary give. I'm going to give you content. I'm going to give you training. I'm going to give you value. I'm going to over-deliver every single time. You spend $5 with me, you're going to get $50 worth of content. That's the relationship you have with your customer. But you want to immediately start having some expectation with them. Say, look, as I'm giving and over-delivering, I'm going to ask you for money. And the more of the people, when you first get them in and they do some kind of engagement, you start training your list, you start training your engagement with people that this is the relationship that we have. I give you content, you give me money. And it's really simple to do, especially when you're over-delivering on that first offer. If you subscribe to my blog, if you haven't done it yet, I actually want to have you do this as homework. Go to billybird.com/blog, and even if you have subscribed, but it's older, you haven't subscribed recently, you're going to realize that it's a brand new funnel. You go in now, it immediately goes into $99 program. I'm going to give it to you. You're going to download it for $7. And I sell, it's crazy, I sell 50% of every new blog person that comes in buys my $99 training for $7. Because the deal is really, it really is a good deal. I sell it all day long for $99. So they get in as a subscriber, they get the offer. I'm going to show you how to do all that. They get the offer for $99. They get the $99 offer for $7, and now we have the proper relationship. I'm giving 110%. They're giving tiny little bit of money. That's all. That's the relationship I want to build with them. I give 110%. You give me tiny little bit of money, and that's the relationship that you start building with people. And now, some of you are going to have a different story, and I'm going to help you with the personal coaching side of things. But there is actually a relationship that you want to establish with them. What are you going to give? What are you going to give them, and what are they going to give you in return? Decide that as early as you possibly can, because that's what you want to do as soon as you get their email addresses. Start taking some of those people and immediately engaging them on that level, on that relationship. And you always want to be the person that's over-delivering. Always give people value on top of value. So the next thing is building your audience and your list. Here's one of the most important things you can do, and that is consistency. If you're not ready to start blogging, once you get through the training, if you're not ready to start blogging and you see what it's going to take as far as time commitment, don't do it until you're ready to do it. Because you're going to be frustrated. You're going to frustrate your audience, and you're going to frustrate yourself, because you're going to go through a lot of effort to get everything started, and then you start to disengage. And it doesn't. You can take a week off. That's okay. But if you're serious, you need to it's only a couple minutes every single day. Every single day you start building your audience, a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. It doesn't matter that you only have 3 people, 5 people, 10 people in the beginning. Isn't that right? Some of you guys are doing Periscopes and you got 5 viewers. I'm on there. I'm one of your 5. And so I see that you're pushing and you're pushing and you're pushing and you're getting your 5 viewers. It's consistency without expectation in the beginning. You've got to start building your audience, and building your audience is about consistency. It's not about perfection. It's not about being the motivator of motivators. It's not about being Tony Robbins. There's actually people that don't like Tony Robbins. They would much rather listen to you. There's a personality type just for you. And so you want to be yourself. You want to start learning how to be natural. You want to start being really good at it. There's actually some people that I'm coaching right now. I got a couple people that are in other countries, and their English is not perfect. It's not perfect English. I don't even know anybody, especially if you're in America, who has perfect English. But they struggle a little bit with the English language. But I actually think there's some people that loves to hear that. They actually love to hear someone that has a second language, that's making an effort, that's speaking in their second language, that's building a business in America. There's a huge number of people that would much rather listen to you than listen to me, because they see that thing that you're, that effort, that thing that you're willing to do, that they themselves are not even willing to do. So don't let any of your so-called obstacles be obstacles. Figure out how to be consistent, and the most important thing is to become, it doesn't start right away, learn to become comfortable with your own voice. In the beginning, you're going to stutter, you're going to stammer, you're going to tell different, you're not going to be sure what to say, you're going to repeat yourself too many times, it's going to be awful. People love awful while you're trying and while you're struggling, but your first goal in starting to tell your story, whether it's in written form or in video or in audio, get to a place of comfort and then stretch yourself and get to the next level. Don't worry about being Mr. Performer for 25 minutes or for 40 minutes, with entertaining quips, and don't worry about trying to perform. It's about being real, being comfortable, and giving real value. That's simple. Every person that's listening to me can do that. Be real, be comfortable, and give value. And if you'll do that, if you'll be yourself, people will follow you. You will have hundreds of thousands of people following you if you can just do that. The next thing on the list is to sell stuff. Realize that you are in the business of giving value, but at the same time, and this is the hardest part for some people, I'm going to help you guys as we go through the seminar how to get this part, because some people don't like to sell. There's some people that are listening right now that are great salespeople. They love selling. They don't mind. They're giving value. They understand the relationship. They're great salespeople. But some people have a really hard time making the offer. How do I make the offer so I don't chase people away? I want to show you how to do that. This formula actually works in a way so that people are actually looking for the next sale. They're actually looking for a way to buy something from you. It's the way that we're going to build you as an expert. So selling stuff is the reason that we do this. The next thing I want to talk to you about is cost. This is what it's going to cost you. If you build it yourself from scratch, it will cost you $0 in the beginning, because you're not going to have a blog yet. I want you to start learning. YouTube is free. Periscope is free. Fan page is free. You should start with those three. If you want to get in for free, you want to start learning it, you want to start doing it, you want to start wetting your feet, zero cost. Your only cost is 5 to 15 minutes every single day. You got to find a time in the day that you're going to commit to doing it. That's your total cost. In the beginning, for me, in reality, that was my highest price. For me to change what I was already doing and to spend 15 to 20 minutes every single day doing a video was a high price for me. But I realized that that's what I wanted to do. That was my cost. That's what you're going to have to do. That's your primary cost. Every single day, except for whatever day is your Sabbath, you should probably take off. You should probably have a day of rest. That's okay. But some people, like myself, I actually do 5 or 6 at a time, break them up so that I don't have to do it every day, but I put something out every single day. So that's your primary cost. Your cost is commitment. Now, once you get started and you start doing blogging, your blogging hosting is going to cost you money. Depending on whether you pick mine or somebody else's, there's a small monthly fee plus a setup for some of the bells and whistles. And you can start off small, you can start off big, but you're talking about $20 a month, somewhere around there, depending on the blogging platform you pick. And I'm going to show you all the nuances of that. That's on blog day. When we get to blog day, I'll show you every single one with all the little checklists, and you can decide which kind of blog you want and how much money you're ready to spend. The other cost is your mailing list. You are going to have to pay somebody something for your mailing list. When you get to the point where you start building a list, in the beginning you don't have to. You can use your Facebook friends and you can do that. But you're going to want to start building a list pretty quick. That cost, if you do Aweber or MailChimp, I think is $40 a month plus a couple pennies an email. I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up. I actually have 2 Aweber accounts. But I'm actually doing something called Sendy. I'm going to show you guys Sendy. Sendy only costs a penny an email. So there's your primary cost. Very small amount of money. Even when you're full-blown, full speed ahead, when you're starting to spend money on hosting and you start spending money on your list, you are making enough money to spend money on your list. Because if you have 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 followers and emailers, you're actually going to be making a couple $1,000s. You could potentially be making a couple $1,000s a month on your list if you do it right. So you don't mind spending an extra $100 a month on your tools and utilities. So there's some of your costs, your ongoing costs, and then expectations. Your expectation should be that you're going to work really hard for 30 days and not make anything. That's going to be, you just get that off the table. You're going to bust your butt every single day. You're going to learn the blogging platform. You're going to get all this stuff set up. You're going to start working. You're going to put 30 videos out there, and nobody's going to show up. It's okay. That should be your expectation. I'm going to work really hard for 30 days, and I'm not going to make a dime. Now, is that the case? It doesn't normally work that way for everybody, but that should be an expectation in your head, that you're not doing those first 30 days to get into full-time income. Blogging isn't like the $1 million question in network marketing. Network marketing, 30 days full-time income. I can show you how to do that 50 times a day. I can show you how to make money doing that. But with blogging, it's low and slow. In the beginning, you're building relationships. It's going to take time. The person that we learned from, one of our mentors, Ray Higdon, he spent 3 to 4 years building his blog and being consistent before he saw any real numbers. I'm going to show you a faster way to get there, because we learned from people like him who actually blazed the path and who's doing it. Eric Worre, same way. He did a YouTube video every single day, and at year 1 he sent out an event and he had 30 or 40 people show up at his event. He spent a whole year, and then year 2 he had double that, and then year 3, and then year 4, and then by year 5 he had 1,000 people show up at his event. So it's about building and it's about consistency. So there's some of your expectations. You should get in thinking that the first 30 days is working on you. Learning the tools, getting comfortable with the work, grinding it out. It's like a farmer. You're not expecting a harvest in the springtime. You're expecting to plow the field. You're expecting to water. You're expecting to do a lot of weeding. Think about blogging like that. In the beginning, it's just building. It's building mostly you. It's building your systems. It's learning how to do it. Like I said, you can do it with very little expense, but your expectation is to get in, work hard, be consistent, and start developing a pattern for you. And don't worry that oh man, I just spent 3 days, 5 days, 10 days, 15 days doing a Periscope every single day, and I got 14 followers. Don't worry about that. That's normal. It's supposed to be that way. Work on you. Keep plugging along. Don't have an expectation to blow it out of proportion. So that's today, 25 minutes just to get you the initial expectations. For those of you who are watching this and are not participating at any level, just contact me at billybird.com. Go ahead and put in an email or send a note and find out how you can be involved in the entire training. It doesn't even matter if you're participating live. This is going to actually be something that we're going to be selling on a regular basis. In 2016, the people who are doing this are selling this same information for $10,000. Just the information. None of the tools. None of the widgets. $10,000 is what people are charging for this kind of training. So I'm going to give you all of that, plus the ability to get the tools. Now in 2016, we're going to have different price points and different price tags. This whole thing's going to go way up in price as we get more and more people participating. So you guys are getting in, getting lucky, getting early. I'm going to go ahead and close out the webinar with you guys, and then I'm going to leave it open for Q&A for those who are on live.